Ask the Mayor. Your chance to ask the Mayor of Weymouth, Bob Hedlund, questions about the town and or anything else that you have concerns about. And now, here's the Mayor himself, Bob Hedlund.
The man of the hour. Welcome once again, for the second time, to Ask the Mayor and the swan song, the finale. Tomorrow is Mayor Hedlund's last day, as a matter of fact. So I'm here to welcome you all to another and final episode of Ask the Mayor Live. I am Jim Melody, your citizen inquisitor, your citizen advocate, and I have been in Bob's campaign corner for most of his career, as probably most of you have been. In fact, Bobby just said to me the other day, he said, Jim, I want to say thank you for all your support through the years. He said, without your personal endorsement, I might have been elected governor. And I said, but I'm joined, as always, by our mayor, our leader, and the man that has done such an amazing job steering this town for the last 10 years, Robert Hedlund. Our guest citizen inquisitor. The night will be full of surprises, exciting opportunities and events, but my guest inquisitor is the man who stirs the straw that stirs the drink, the man who's been the point guy for almost everything good that's occurred in this town over the course of the last 10 years, Bob's chief of staff, the great Ted Langill. And so as I stand, we're going to ask everybody else here to stand as well, please, for a moment, because we had a singer that was going to do our national anthem, but instead we're switching to the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we could trouble everybody to stand up, and we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance together towards our American flag to celebrate this great town and country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand it over to Bob for a second, because tomorrow is also the anniversary of something that we would also like to reflect upon. And Robert, please offer some language.
So before we get to that, obviously most of you have watched the show. Is there anyone here that hasn't watched any episode of the show? No? Good. When we do the show, it feels like it's kind of like the Johnny Carson show, and he's Ed McMahon. Tonight, I feel like I'm on Donahue or Oprah or something. This is really weird, and I really thank you all for coming. It's been 9.5 years as mayor, and doing the show is one of the more enjoyable parts of the job, to be honest with you. Just by way of background, Mayor Kay had a show she did called Mayor's Monthly Forum. I was a guest on it, actually, as a senator. So we picked up on that when I came in, and we started doing the Mayor's Monthly Forum. And I think after one episode, I said, this is worse than watching paint dry. We gotta liven it up. And growing up, I remember on WSBK TV 38, the old Ask the Manager show. Is there anyone here that remembers that show? I can see that most of the people that answered that have gray hair. Literally. I'm getting there too, but as a kid in junior high, we'd watch the Bruins or the Three Stooges or whatever else was on WSBK, and that came on, and that was a lot of fun watching that show. I remember it quite vividly, and that was kind of the inspiration. I said, why don't we do a takeoff of that? So it's why we have fun at the end. We think of an old WSBK show, WSBK show that follows it, and we kind of send it off with that. So this has been one of the real parts of the job that was enjoyable. Obviously, a lot of highlights, a lot of lowlights during my time as mayor. One of the lowlights is, unfortunately, the senseless murders of Vera Adams and Sergeant Michael Chesn, which the anniversary is tomorrow, 7 years. So we'd like to offer just a quick moment of silence for the families of Vera Adams and Sergeant Chesn. You don't have to get up. We will. Thank you.
P.S. Bob, I had just found out tonight, the gym in this building is actually named after Sergeant Michael Chesn, which is a great tribute to the man as well.
Now, I did ask Ted why he's up on the stage, because Ted usually likes to stay behind the scenes. I'll leave it at that. He likes to stay behind the scenes.
But the straw that stirs the drink.
I said, why are you up here? And he said, because we're going to introduce some people and Melody won't remember who they are or even know who they are.
What was your name again?
And that's kind of expected if you watch the show. Usually a question comes up about a landmark in Weymouth, and he doesn't know where it is. And he's lived in Weymouth longer than me, so I don't understand that. But anyway, take it away, Jim. I don't know what the... Oh, one last disclaimer. When they suggested this, I didn't think the idea made any sense initially, but I said, if you guys think you can pull it off, and if anyone can pull it off, other than minor technical difficulty, we had Donnie Norton, George Raymond Jr., and Jeff Cummings of WETC and the whole WETC crew. So I had faith in them, and so I'm excited for tonight, but I do not know what the format is, other than I'm taking some questions. So please understand that.
All right, listen, I just want you guys all to know, I do know what some things are. Denley's, Dairy Queen, Burger King. And anybody who has watched the show, and everybody has, the reason why the show is so watchable, and I have to say extremely entertainment, isn't because of Bob and I's witty repartee. Can we all ask for a round of applause for the great Jeff Cummings, who does all the animation, does all the production work. How about a standing O for Jeff? I keep telling him he should be in Hollywood. The guy's work is unbelievable. It's second to none. And he is world class in the business.
And his parents are here.
And his parents are here. Wow, awesome. Where, Mom and Dad, hey, how you doing? You done good. And of course, Donnie Norton's behind the booth. And Donnie, God love you. You know, great job by Donnie at all times as well.
Now, one last thing before Jim, kick it back to Jim. How's he look tonight? So I just want to give a shout out.
Jenny Craig update, I'm down 3 pounds so far.
Priscilla, stand up. He just got his hair styled. Priscilla, his hairstylist is here from RG Salon in Columbian Square.
Oh, hey now! Hey now! Yeah. Hey,
are you regretting that now? You want to take credit for that?
I don't mind you charging me for the hair, but the extra for the back, I mean. All right, well, listen, as we try to keep this under 3 hours, and Ted has the over, by the way, if you want to place a bet down.
I'm cashing in tonight.
We would like to kickstart the event, and it will start going a little bit more rapidly because, Ted, we have our first presentation from what I understand.
We do, and it's a special one. The Weymouth Police Department is here to present the mayor with a presentation, and with us is...
Do they have a question?
They're ripping up all your outstanding warrants.
Chief Grimes, Chief Fuller, and Captain Pritchard.
It's a federal subpoena.
Chief Grimes has his old cuffs.
Mr. Mayor, you have the right to remain. On behalf of the men and women of the Weymouth Police Department, we wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for your support over the past 10 years. We've been through a lot together, starting back with the tragedy with Vera Adams and Mike Chesn, COVID, the George Floyd riots, and you were there for us the entire time. We wanted to take this opportunity to present you a card signed by the entire department, and we have a plaque.
Mayor Robert Hedlund, in appreciation of your unwavering support of the Weymouth Police Department over the past 10 years. The dedication and professionalism of our police force is a direct reflection of the strong leadership and support we have received from you. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement.
So we elected officials kind of get a lot of these. You've seen citations passed around and things like that, but this one actually means a lot to me, guys. And what made my job easier was guys like this and this and this that really made this department what it is. And my level, how I judged the job was 100% of the headaches I got, I break them down by percentage and which departments the headaches come from. You guys are on the lower minuscule scale because these guys go out and just do their job. They don't complain. They get the job done. I was victimized recently by a criminal who stole my very, very expensive utility trailer out in front of my house. And I got my neighbor to look on his Ring camera. We didn't get a plate number. All we saw was a truck, no name on it. 2-3 hours, I get a call from the chief, we got your trailer back. A guy in Rockland's got it. Unbelievable. Thank you. Hey, Chief Grimes, you didn't give him a shout out. With us is retired Chief Grimes, too. Give him a big hand.
Great job, guys. Well, listen, I normally do most of the questioning and asking, but in this case, we're going to spread it around the field, and would like to hand it over to Ted for the first inquiries, shall we say.
Well, they're my questions. That's why we're starting.
Oh, no.
23 years, I have a lot of them. Why was I the lowest paid chief of staff at the State House? No, the question
It goes hand in hand with the lowest paid mayor in metropolitan Boston.
And coupled with the no-pay guy. I mean,
I made up for it in Weymouth.
oh, hey now.
That's why when people say I'm going to run for mayor, I'm like, I don't want the pay cut.
It's true.
But the question is, and it's been on a lot of people's mind, and obviously the big question, and I'm going to ask it this, why are you leaving me?
So, I don't know, it's kind of a long answer, but keep it quick. Originally, and he knows this, I never had really any experience in municipal government. I went right from the truck repair business into the Senate, which nowadays, by the way, we need more people like that in the Mass Legislature because they're all people who, you know, kind of come up, they start out as aides and run for the House, then go to the Senate. There's not a lot of diversity there right now, but I didn't have an interest in municipal government. But Pat O'Connor, when he chaired the council, was my legislative director. Ted had served in Braintree as chair of the Finance Committee in Braintree when he lived in Braintree and had the good sense to move out of there and come to Weymouth. And listening to them, over time, it sort of evolved, and I was getting kind of tired of the life at the State House. It was like Groundhog Day, and they were kind of like suggesting we look at running, and finally one day I said, okay, maybe I'll just go in there and do one term. One term turned into two, enthusiastically into two, and then towards the end of two, I said, I gotta leave. I didn't intend to do 2 terms, and kind of got hoodwinked. Ironically, a guy that was my biggest political enemy at one time was my biggest advocate to do another term. So I did that begrudgingly, but reached the point with a lot of things. You know, the newspaper I told, got some family issues, I got some health issues, which is true, but every politician, when they retire, they say, I want to spend more time with my family, which, you know, so people don't believe me. So there's a lot of rumors why I'm leaving, which aren't true.
That's question number 2.
I actually told the truth. I got to get some things in order. I'm a little bit burnt out. And the timing was good in the sense that I wanted him to stay on. And, you know, I felt comfortable with Mike Melise, who's here. Where are you, Mike? There he is.
He'll be up later.
Mike, you know, by virtue of our charter, the council president becomes the acting mayor. And, you know, I had to sit down with Mike and I said, you know, would you run in November? And he said, yes. So I felt comfortable handing it over to these guys and keep some positive momentum going. Also, the timing was such, looking at the calendar, I said, I don't know if I can last another 2.5 years, to be honest with you, with things I've got going on in my personal life. And the timing was such that if we notified the clerk now, they can schedule the election in sync with the council races this fall. So no confusion with a special election, no extra cost. So I just felt the timing was right then. And so far, it seems like it was the right decision, but we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
What are some of the rumors you've heard about why you're leaving?
All kinds of crazy stuff.
I started half of them.
I don't know. I lost track of them all. I'm at a federal indictment. I heard that one. I received an apartment. I don't know what that meant, but that's going around. I received an apartment. What else? I forget the rest of them, but that's 2 main ones.
Good stuff. Yeah, it sounds...
What about
people?
Your 3 wives, your 3 wives.
People suspect nefarious things, obviously. So
Yeah, pretty crazy.
yeah.
Anyway, now we're up...
I got to be honest with you. When I see politicians say I'm leaving to spend more time with my family, I think it's usually BS too.
Yeah.
So I don't blame people for thinking that.
Now we have our first guests coming up, and with us is Speaker of the Massachusetts...
Did this guy just fly in from
Ron Mariano.
Jose Lopez Portillo? This is a real special... This is a real
Before
special
you start
occasion.
giving me grief.
It's a real special occasion
have
for
a
him to
mic.
go over the floor of a bridge south.
Yeah, I'm here on a visa, and I only have a short time.
Ronnie, honorary Weymouth citizen for all time.
Can I start with a question of you?
Sure.
For those of you who don't know, I got elected originally in 1991. I was defeated in 92 by Brian McDonald. Brian and I had a rematch, a real slugfest, bloodbath, which it was. And then Brian ends up on the council and becomes one of my biggest allies, and we had a great relationship. So things change in politics. I was just elected to the Senate, took office in 91, and Ron runs in a special election, am I right? Early
91.
Early 91, that's how we met, and you defeated Jack McGlone in a primary and went on to beat Bill Isbicki in the general
Well, you
election.
have a really good memory.
I've been told that, actually. But, so we've known each other a long time, and I would ask, when you first met me back in the early 90s, would you ever expected that you'd be sitting here and me being mayor of Weymouth?
No.
I thought that would be the answer.
Yeah, there's no surprises. Bob, we know each other well enough that there'll be no surprises. Listen, I'm here because I want to make sure this is real.
You and Mike Melise.
And Mike sent me down here with specific. But now, listen, when Bob and I first took office, we were on opposite sides of a couple of big issues. The old colony rail line.
Nope, just Greenbush. I was
I mean the Greenbush, I'm sorry. He's his own fact checker, which is good. Yeah, so we were on opposite sides. But, you know, when it was finally finished and they ran the first train through, Bob made sure he was on the first ride. So I always am amazed how he had the nerve to get on the train for the first run.
It wasn't the train, it was the photo op I was looking for.
But anyway, you know, I've always sort of digged him about that, but it's just a little bit comical to me. But we haven't always been on the opposite sides. And one of the reasons I really wanted to come here is because I don't have the opportunity to spend as much time with Bob now as I could have in the past with my duties as a speaker. But I spend time going through Weymouth, and I want to just commend you for the job that you've done in bringing this town into the present time. It is truly amazing. I think you deserve a lot of credit for that I would have always been reluctant to give you until now. But will certainly say to you right now that the things that I've seen built in Weymouth in the 10 years that your administration has been in office is truly amazing. I am really impressed. And the fields and the recreational facilities that you've spent money on, and I know it's because you're on 10 softball teams and you want to play on the best fields.
We lost one of my fields to make way for soccer fields. That was painful.
We'll have to investigate that. That's not right.
Sacrilege.
That's not right. No, but it is truly amazing the change in you as an administrator. It is significant, it is noticeable, and it's impressive. And I wanted to say that to you personally because probably in the 70s and 80s, I never would have said that to you.
Did you know me in the 70s?
I mean, 90s, I'm sorry. I'm losing track. I'm old. I'm older than you.
It only seems that long. Yeah.
I'm older than you.
You probably brought your car into Hedlund Motors. He changed the oil for you.
No, I was too smart for that. It was right across the street from my house.
And Quincy.
Yeah, it was. And the other thing I wanted to say is, you know, that Bob and I had the opportunity to work together on the Naval Air Station and the base. And I just want to thank him now for the leadership that he's shown in helping to bring that project to fruition. And I mean this deeply, that without you seeing the value of what we're trying to do, this thing would have a difficult time seeing fruition. But with your support, especially around the MWRA, and I know that wasn't easy for you, I have a lot of respect for your decision. I had a lot of respect for the research that you did in analyzing the best ways to make that project a success. And you chose the one I think that we all can get behind and we will all work to. So just because you're leaving, and Lord knows where you're going,
I'm not sure yet either.
just leave some breadcrumbs, we'll find you.
Don't ask, don't tell.
I was smart enough not to. I wouldn't dare ask. But we still will need you as the elder statesman from the town
I would never hear that word.
from the town of Weymouth, or the city of Weymouth, whatever it is today, in support of this
I remember when they
project.
call me brash and young.
Yes. Yeah, I think I used some of those adjectives. But it's been a pleasure to get to know you personally as a colleague, other than the nonsense at the beginning where we were always yelling at each other and fighting. But there is a mutual respect here that I think I wanted to make sure I imparted to you, because it's real. I truly believe this. And whatever you end up doing, I know you'll work at it. Sure, there'll be softball involved, and you'll enjoy yourself, and that's what you deserve. So
Thank you.
I wish you the best.
And we're
Thank
very
you.
lucky. So I take it he doesn't have a question, but real quick on the MWRA, we're very lucky that we have Representative Mariano in the position that he's in as Speaker, helping us on this. He's been a huge help. You said I thought I might take some flack. Yes, because the MWRA, as you know, was in some ways legitimately demonized in Weymouth back in the day. And those gray-haired people will remember, that remember Ask the Manager show.
I remember.
And, you know, it was the right decision, and I think over time, especially with your leadership coming to the council meeting, the facts are getting out there, the benefits are being known to Weymouth, and that, you know, I think we're going to be vindicated on that decision.
I'm really confident that you will be. I think people are going to be very pleased with the consistent water quality that you're going to get and the consistent pricing. One of the great things about this is the more people we bring in to this project, the more towns, and we are looking at extending the MWRA further south, the less the monthly charge is going to be for the town. So
Great.
we can look forward to that. Won't be a reduction, but a little bit. I'm getting a wave. Mary, this is like the old days. Get me off.
Thank you.
You never give the Speaker of the House a microphone.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're looking good. You know, I yell at Jim when he goes on too long and editorializes on the show, what he calls jib jab. I certainly wasn't going to cut the speaker off.
We were not.
That kind of jib jab we need more of. Great job, Ron. Well, listen, we are actually taking questions from the audience, and it's time for our first audience question. It looks like we have a woman at the podium, and let me introduce you to Beverly D. Murat. Beverly, how are you?
Good.
Frequent flyer.
Hello, Mayor. Now that you're retiring as mayor, what is the one question you never want to answer again?
Oh, that's a good one.
When are you going to pave my road?
No, that's the one question that comes into the office or when I'm in the supermarket or
I bet.
wherever. I would say what jumped into my mind when you asked the question to go with my first instinct Comcast question. Why can't we get Verizon or this one or that one? And I'm not going to answer my own rhetorical question here because I've answered it on the show 5,000 times, right, Mary? So that would be the answer. The Comcast question.
Not coming anytime soon.
And now we have a couple video clips where we hope people are saying nice things about you. These are a couple of your government colleagues wanting to say some words and couldn't be here tonight.
Is Brian Lee?
Hi, Mayor Hedlund. Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll here. I'm so sorry I can't be with you in person, but I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to say a few words ahead of your well-deserved retirement as mayor. From your time in Senate to your 10 years heading up the town of Weymouth, you've been a longtime champion of common sense solutions in government. Your leadership redeveloping the Old South Weymouth Naval Air Station, a project that's been long in the making, is not go unnoticed, along with the impactful investments you had in the town, from new libraries to new infrastructure. Oh, and of course, your executive order to rename Hingham Bay to the Gulf of Weymouth, that didn't go unnoticed either. I often say the best job in the world is being mayor of your hometown. It's also the hardest job in the world, and it's a rewarding form of public service. It's the branch of government that directly impacts people every single day, from educating your kids to keeping your neighborhood safe to driving economic activity. I'm so grateful that you have been serving as the mayor of Weymouth, and both the governor and I wanted to express our appreciation for all the work you've done, not only to improve Weymouth, but to help improve the Commonwealth along the way. Congratulations. Hope you enjoy your well-deserved time off.
Hello there, Congressman Steve Lynch, 8th Congressional District of Massachusetts. Just want to wish my friend Bob Hedlund, my favorite Republican, the very best in his retirement. Bob and I served together in the state Senate for a number of years. He was always a total gentleman and someone who was completely focused on the best interest of the people that he served. And that continued when he became mayor of Weymouth. And one of the great things about working with Bob has been the fact that regardless of the differences between us, he never let that get in the way of the things we did agree on. And that was to the great credit of Bob, but also to the great benefit of the people of Weymouth. We were able to work on some wonderful things together. And I always trusted his judgment on local matters. And I always knew if we gave Bob, $1 of federal funding, he'd give us $10 of value in return on behalf of the families of Weymouth. So I do have a bit of nostalgia and regret to have him leave. He's a steady hand, and like I said, he's my favorite Republican elected official. Patrick O'Connor's up there too, but Bob, we served together for such a long time. I just wish you the best of health and the best of good fortune in whatever you choose to do next, because I know you're one of those people that keeps on going and has a variety of interests, and I wish you the best in all of those. Good luck, my friend.
Jim's getting out jib-jabbed tonight.
I didn't know so many people liked you. Well, it's time. We have an email question, Bob, as we're prone to in the show, Ask the Mayor. And here it goes. A segue from what the Lieutenant Governor kind of referenced, Bob. It's the first email question is from Jeff Potter. And it says, "Hi, Mayor. I have noticed on a couple of Facebook posts that you have been named the Admiral of the Weymouth Navy with Chubby 2 as your flagship." Am I Chubby 3? I'm trying to figure out Chubby 2 is the boat, I presume. My question is, will you be recruiting residents of the independent sovereign nation of North Weymouth to join your armada and protect our shores from the Hingham infidels? Thank you, Jeff Potter. And the Gulf of Weymouth needs protection, Robert. What do you think?
Well, Mike Melise and I have to discuss as part of our transition what the Weymouth militia is going to do. Our next annexation effort, I've stated, is going to be taking the Hingham shipyard over, which is contiguous by water to Weymouth, and resume shipbuilding, especially since Weymouth offered Hingham offered some aggressive rhetoric about renaming the Weymouth Back River the Hingham Back River. We're not going to let that stand either. But Mike hasn't, until he becomes mayor, he can't offer me a commission as admiral yet. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
But speaking of that, our next guest is Town Council President Mike Melise, also my new boss in 2 days.
Good evening. great to be here this evening. I have Vice President Pascal Berger with me also.
She flew in from Michigan to be here.
I did.
Pascal.
It's, you'll be missed. Over the last 9.5 years, we've had a great working relationship. I always said that. We had a great administration and the council worked together great. And we got some great things done here in the town of Weymouth. And we want to continue to keep doing that.
We do.
We got Ted there, and we'll keep the ball rolling, and things will be good. We'll keep the tradition
Are you
going.
excited?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited, yeah.
Mr. Mayor in waiting?
Yep, so it's good. It's good, but like I said, we've had some great things happen. I want to continue it, and we'll be there, so I'm sure we'll see you. I have a citation here.
Does Pascal have jelly beans for me?
I ate them all on the way. I was pretty hungry. But I would like to say...
I was ill, and she left jelly beans on my doorstep a few years ago.
I did during COVID. I didn't want to go anywhere near the door, so I left a little care package with some emergency at the door. But Mayor Hedlund, I would like to say thank you for all you've done. As you know, I'm the representative of the sovereign nation of North Weymouth. And when I was elected to come in, the major complaint was North Weymouth never got a lot of attention. I'd like to say that in the 6 years that I've been on the council, I've never seen so much improvement for an area of town as in North Weymouth. And
Now, do you guys, that's fine, all that's great. I love all these plaudits, but we're here to take questions. Do you have questions?
I have a question for Mike, you know, but no, we can ask that later. But thank you. I'd like to thank you sincerely from the people of North Weymouth.
I have a citation here from the Weymouth Town Council. Presents this citation to Mayor Robert Hedlund. On behalf of the Town Council, we thank Mayor Robert Hedlund for serving the town of Weymouth with integrity, dedication throughout his mayoral tenure for the last 9.5 years. Prior to his role as mayor, Mayor Hedlund was a member of the Massachusetts State Senate for over 2 decades, serving both Norfolk and Plymouth counties. Mayor Hedlund's commitment to public service and the efforts enhanced the quality of life in our community and left a lasting, meaningful legacy here in the town of Weymouth. We honor and commend you for your years of service and extend our heartfelt gratitude, best wishes, continued success in all your future endeavor. Giving under the seal of the town of Weymouth on behalf of the citizens this 14th day of July, 2025, and it's signed by all the councilors. We appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now do you have a question?
When are you going to pave my road? Michael, great job.
Did you clean my new office?
While they exit the stage, it just dawned on me now, you know, O'Connor was eager to have me run for mayor, and I'm just realizing that was probably to get me out the door so he could go after my seat in the Senate.
Not too late, Pat.
He already did. He got elected, Jim.
And there's an opening, I understand, in town.
No, I'm talking for the Senate. He wanted
you mean you can get elected and then decide you don't want that job anymore?
Told you.
And all the people coming up here are not here to ask you questions, just so you know.
Let's get to the question.
But I am, and I'm here to introduce another audience member. Paula Mine from Weymouth, please put us out of our misery.
No, she's about to create misery for me.
Bob, congratulations from the people of Crow Point on your retirement. I hope you have a great one. Thank you for everything you've done. So my question kind of reflects on Ron's ability to get over that bridge. Why does one have to subscribe to the Patriot Ledger to find out when the Fall River Bridge is going up? Isn't this public information that should be available publicly on a website or an app that anybody can get to without having to subscribe to the paper? Who is in charge of the bridge? And does the town have access to this information? And could it be posted and made public? Thank you, Paula from Facebook.
Paula, are you a Weymouth, or would you vote in Weymouth or Hingham? Could you clarify that for us?
I vote in Hingham, but I am a property owner. I am a property owner of a very old house in Weymouth.
Would you like a Gulf of Weymouth t-shirt?
Only if you sign it. Again, congratulations and thank you.
Paula and I grew up on the same street. I don't know who left the street first. It was a long time ago. It might have been you, might have been me. I don't know. Pat O'Connor can probably answer that question better than I can right now, because you post the information. You get it, right? We used to get it at the State House, but I'm not aware of any notifications that come to the town of Weymouth on that. And we've actually covered a little bit about tankers going in and out of there before, because we used to get, Beverly, a common question we used to get was, why can't they open the bridge just on off-peak hours, and why do they open it during rush hour? And everyone here knows the answer to that question, so I don't have to repeat that. But maritime traffic has the right of way, and then there's issues with the channel, and they have to work with the tide and all that. But the notifications, I don't know, I'll have Senator O'Connor talk to you later. But we don't get anything at Town Hall on that. We used to get it at the State House, and then we put it out through our social media back in the day there. But that's my answer. It's not a good answer, but it's an answer, as Tom Lasorda would say.
Now, Paula, we know there's been a little rub between you and Bob since he asked you to the prom and you said no. And so there's been a little edge there, Bob. You can come clean with us here if you don't mind. Well, listen, speaking of Bob's social life, we've had a wonderful visit at the Whipple Center in the past where Bob had several dating opportunities, if I recall correctly. But that being said, there is a video message that's been presented and recorded, Bob, for you from your friends at the Whipple Center.
Excellent.
That'll wake you up. Thank you, Mayor. You've done so much for the seniors and the vets. I want to thank you personally.
We're here because we just want to give a big thank you to one of the greatest mayors that I've ever known. You've done a fantastic job in Weymouth, and we wish you nothing but the best in the future.
Mr. Mayor, sorry to see you go. You've done a great job. I'm retired from the police department, 39 years. You've done a great job. The town looks great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all that you've done. Thank you for the wonderful statues in front of Abigail Adams. And we hope that you enjoy your retirement and take a little time to take an afternoon nap.
Yes, that's a good idea.
I know that you have been wonderful for the town of Weymouth, especially as seniors, so I just want to say thank you very much for all your hard work and good luck.
I thank him for putting me on as a board of director for the Weymouth Housing People.
Aloha, Mayor Hedlund. I'm Terry Slattery, and I wanted to say thank you for all the wonderful things you've done for our community. Cheryl and I spent half the year here, and the improvements have been notable. Most recently, the Ralph Talbot Auditorium. Fantastic. Thank you. Mahalo.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Hope you have a wonderful retirement. Thank you for everything you've done. Take care.
Perfect.
Sorry, I have no advice.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's all we need.
I have no advice.
Hey, Bob. Terry Sampson here. Your ex-neighbor from Nantasket and Hingham. Remember the old days of Nantasket Avenue with going for orange juice and hiding the car in somebody's yard? And, you know, remember the State Department? I was across the street at 100 Cambridge Street, and you did a hell of a lot for Weymouth, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. Happy retirement, Bob.
Mayor Hedlund, congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for all you did for the town. The place is a better looking town since you've been here. Now you can work on your own yard.
Well, you know, he did a fantastic job in the town here. You know, like I see all these great improvements and, you know, job well done, and enjoy the future.
Enjoy your retirement, keep busy, stay active, and, you know, we'll think of you often. Take care. Bye.
Okay, I just wanted to say goodbye, good luck, and I wish you the best. Weymouth's a good place. Thank you.
Now that he's retired, do you have any retirement advice for the mayor?
Well,
Enjoy every day.
I've been retired 23 years, so it's underrated.
Well, I thank you, Mayor Hedlund, for all that you've done. You've been the greatest mayor Weymouth has ever seen. And I just want to warn you on retirement, watch out for that honeydew list, because it's coming.
Okay, now that the mayor is freshly retired, what type of advice do you have for him?
Come and join the senior centers. Lots of fun, lots of activities, and you can stand in line like the rest of us.
The guy that said I've been retired 23 years was a friend of mine's boss at the courthouse.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now we have our next guest, our friend, our former mayor of Braintree, and the former colleague of Bob's up at the State House.
I got questions for this.
Joe Sullivan.
Can we turn this around?
And a former guest host of Ask the Mayor in the past as well as Matt. He took my chair for a show and did a great job.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be with all of you here in South Braintree. Mr. Mayor, how are
Did you go through Weymouth Landing to get here?
I went through the landing, I did. And it's a beautiful spot, and we worked together on that. Really came to some good village overlay district zoning.
That preceded me.
Yeah, well, it preceded you, but you were there with the implementation of it. And you also, as a legislator, secured a $2 million PWED grant for us, Public Works Economic Development Grant. So we worked in a very compatible way.
You know, I could run statewide right now and piece together these little things and put them in endorsement ads.
Yeah,
show my bipartisan appeal. This would really work.
That might work for Baker. I don't think it would work for you, Bob. But no, really, I wanted to come by and express my appreciation for everything you've done as a neighboring community, and we were able to work together in the legislature as well as
what do you get in the bag?
The municipal. Well, it's not a six-pack, I can tell you that.
I'm hoping it's a sandwich for me.
I want to congratulate, actually, the town of Weymouth because you guys took the first experiment. Quincy was the only city in Norfolk County, and you went out in 2000 and elected a mayor, 2020, excuse me, and then we followed up 2000. In 2008, we followed up with our form of government. So you led the way on that. And
Framingham picked up from there, too.
They did as well. And I think you're going to see more communities introduce the mayoral form of government. So you took the lead on it, and we copied you a little bit. And I do think it creates a more efficient operation in many ways. I'm not objective, having served 12 years as mayor. Mayor Erin Joyce is here, too. She's our third mayor in Braintree. Bob is the third mayor here in Weymouth, and so I knew his predecessors. Obviously, Sue Kay was a Sullivan, so we were related somewhere along the way. Do you know Sue Kay went to Woodstock? Did you know that? She did. She told me all about it, but I don't think we can talk about that today. And I knew Dave Madden as well. But Bob, I do want to just pick up on one thing you said. You were in the legislature, as was I. And then you came into municipal government, as did I. And I do think it takes a bit of a skill set to be able to do both of those types of jobs. You know, the legislative branch is much more deliberative, and it takes a long time to get things done. And when you're a mayor, you got to make decisions every single day. And so Bob was able to do that in a way that I think really brought a lot of betterments and improvements to this community. And I think you've done it very well. And you had the good sense to bring in a Braintree guy to help you.
Hingham High grad, right there.
I know he's a Hingham High grad, but he lived in Braintree on South Street for a long period of time as well. And as you noted, was chair of the FinCom and of the old form of government, which I served in. So Ted did a good job, and Ted, I know you're going to continue to help Mike and the new mayor, and we'll be there supporting, obviously, Erin and the work she's doing to work in a very compatible way with you.
And you guest hosted the show once before, too, in his absence.
I was actually there the whole time, my friend.
I think I kind of...
No, you just happened to be there coincidentally that day, Joe, and we gave you the mic.
I think I kind of crashed it.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Had a lot of fun doing that. But listen, I don't want to take up too much time. Mr. Mayor, I have a little something for you. You're going to go into retirement, as they say.
Not really, but...
I understand. Same thing here, private sector for everything I'm doing right now, and there is a world out there. But you're going to need recreational time. So I want you to wear this in good health.
I thought it was a doggy bag from Foursquare, Joe, from 4 years ago.
I have a hunch. Might be a T-shirt. Oh. Braintree Recreation. There we go.
How about that, huh?
You know, you better be careful, because when we get done with Hingham, we might have our eyes set on a couple of facilities in Weymouth to annex.
Listen, I want to say this right now publicly. I'm with Mayor Joyce, okay? Whatever she does, we're going to get done, believe me. I'm like all of you. I enjoy Bob Hedlund. I enjoy him most of the time. But I'm glad to be part of this today and to express my appreciation to him for his public service and wish him well.
Two quick things in response to what Joe had to say
I do
today.
have a question, though, I'm going to ask you, but go ahead.
All right, I'll just get something out of the way and you can ask your question. Real quick about the Charter Commission that was done in Weymouth. I was a town meeting member then, and we used to meet here when it was the old school. And when that charter effort was undertaken, and we got some people that were involved in town government in those days I see here, the Jennings, the Ramponis, et cetera, Clark. when they named the Charter Commission, I looked at the makeup of that commission and I said, they'll never get anything done. You had one of the most conservative, hardcore, anti-tax Republicans in town on one side. You had far left, liberal, progressive. Well, they didn't use the word progressive back then. I said, they're never gonna get anything done. And at the end of the process, they were all friends and they put an incredible document together that's been the model, as we said, for Braintree, for Framingham. So it can be done. People can work across the aisle. It doesn't happen as much anymore, unfortunately, but that was a great period in Weymouth history. And people don't maybe realize that when we did the little park over that was named for Jack Youngclaws, who chaired that Charter Commission, we sort of put a memorial there to recognize everybody that served on that Charter Commission at the time. That was one thing. This has evolved into a This Is Your Life kind of episode and not an Ask the Mayor episode, unfortunately for me, because I do like the questions. But listening to Steve Lynch and listening to Ron Mariano, oh, we had our differences here and there. I don't really remember a lot of differences with Mariano along the way. And I really don't remember a lot of differences with Stevie Lynch along the way. Now, Joe Sullivan, that's another story.
That's true.
For those of you that don't know, when I went up there, David Locke was the minority leader in the Senate. And I was sort of his little favorite of the freshmen. And we had something like some crazy amount of like 7, 8 freshman Republicans. Wow. If you can believe it. Pat, what do we got now? 5 of you guys? 4? 4, now 5. We had a low of 3 at one point in the Republican caucus in the Senate. When I went in, we had 16 Republican senators. It was crazy.
And how large is the body of Senate?
40.
40, okay.
And David Locke asked me my committee preferences, and my first pick was transportation, coming from the truck repair business. I thought, well, I must be an expert on transportation. I changed brakes on a truck, you know. I didn't know about big dig financing and things like that, but he put me on transportation, and it was the one committee in my 21 years that I was on consistently. So Brian Lees was, before you got there, Brian Lees was the ranking member. Then he left after a couple of years. I became the ranking minority member in the Senate. Joe comes into the legislature. He becomes the House chair. And we definitely had some battles. We definitely had some differences. So this time, and you didn't even cite them, but the other guys did. So I remember my battles with you, but I don't remember battles with those guys.
Well, who won most of those battles?
Well, we built Greenbush.
And, I'm not even thinking of that one. I'm thinking more big dig stuff.
You're thinking more what?
More of the big dig stuff I was thinking about.
Yeah, the Artery project was...
I didn't battle you on Greenbush. My battle really was with Salucci, and that would make for another chapter episode of Ask the Mayor, which is would be really interesting backstory, but we won't go down that road.
We can talk about the Central Artery project at some point. We had to maintain a strong statewide road and bridge program at the same time and support the MBTA and a lot of other activities. And you know, in the end, we were able to do much of what we wanted to try to accomplish. But my question is this.
Yes.
Because of the Village Overlay District, because of the compatible zoning we're able to do with Weymouth and Braintree and really
Hold the mic up.
Work together in a very enjoined way. And it took us 8 years. 2008, we started meeting in the Viking Club on an annual basis, then Sue Kay, then Bob after that. And over that period of time, it took us 8 years to rebuild the landing. Today, it's a vibrant place with restaurants, residential, retail, and some really good things happen there. Greenbush was the cornerstone to getting that accomplished. Now, today, Mr. Mayor, as you step away, should we have built Greenbush?
Well, you know what's interesting about Greenbush is there's people in town that complain about overdevelopment on the South Shore and in Weymouth, right? They're probably some of the same people that supported the restoration of Greenbush. And there's an article that just appeared in the Ledger recently that profiled the growth on the South Shore and how. Actually, I found it cleaning out my desk the other day, so it might have not been recently. I'm in a time warp cleaning out my desk. Interesting article, and I think I left it in the drawer for Mike Melise because it's interesting. Talks about how Greenbush spurred more growth on the South Shore. And some people look upon that growth as a good thing. Some people look upon it as a bad thing. But, you know, sometimes when we get criticized, is Luongo here? Schneider's here, there he is. Some people complain about, they see a new building go up and it traumatizes them and everything, and I say, well, look, you know, what are we, 15, 16, 18 miles south of Boston, capital city of New England. We got 3 commuter rail stations in town. We have 4 state highways that run through the town. So, you know, growth is inevitable. It's happening all around us. But Greenbush has some good benefits to the town, but it's also brought some negatives. And I will say, I've been vindicated on some things where the ridership projections, as it relates and what it's done to the commuter boat ridership, they pilfered more commuter boat riders than they got cars off the road. That's been documented. So there's good and there's bad.
Okay, you've answered the question. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
You're welcome.
The inaugural mayor of the city of Braintree.
And by the way, Mike Melise was up here, and I forgot to give him a present. Somebody gave this to me tonight. It's for Mike.
Next question.
Jeff, you're in charge. That goes to Mike.
There is another email question that's coming our way, but I get these Inquisitor insertion once a show, and I'm going to take it at this moment because Gulf of Weymouth has come up more than once during the course of tonight, and I would like to recognize Ray Jennings and Jason Thayer sitting right here front and center. These are the guys that put together the charitable fundraiser that's raised how much money, guys, as a result of T-shirt sales?
A lot.
$8,500 they've raised through T-shirt sales, donated back to the town. And Bobby, how do you use that money?
One of the things we did was the recognition of, why am I blanking out right now? I apologize.
Fitzgibbon?
The Fitzgibbons, father and son memorial. There wasn't a sufficient memorial for them. Well, there was, but it got displaced along the way. There's a small marker. We wanted to do something that memorialize them in a better way. And that was a small portion of the proceeds they've raised paid for that stone, which is at Libby Field. If you're out for a walk and you're over there, take a look at it. Father-son tandem that lost their lives in Vietnam, and it's been documented that Richard Fitzgibbons Jr., because I think the other one is the third, is the first documented casualty of the Vietnam War.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And then his son enlisted later after the dad's life was lost, and he lost his life in Vietnam.
Well, those T-shirts are still for sale at the Brew Pub Ray, right? Once again, Ray Jennings and Jason Thayer, honest to God. Talk about taking the ball and running with it. All right, listen, this next...
I'll tell you one more thing that it's going to be paying for. Pet peeve of mine, and it's one of the things I talked with Mike that didn't get done. George Ponce and I have gone back and forth over the 9 years. Some of the Veterans Memorial markers for corners in town, you notice, like Fran Tusi Corner in Jackson Square, none of the signs are standardized. The families used to pay for them, and some would spring for the $3,600 bronze ones, and others would buy other ones that some of them look like they were made in my basement. So we're going to take that on with that money and upgrade all of them except the bronze ones. We're going to bring up to a higher level and standardize them like other towns have done. So some of the proceeds are going to that. So
amazing.
Thank you guys.
Amazing and awesome.
So when it gets done and Melise takes credit for it, you remember what I said tonight, okay?
Well, Bob, we're back to a branch on the family tree. We have Bob's sister, Heather Hedlund, in the mix tonight. And there is an email question, but there's now become a surprise component. We're going to offer this in two parts, Bob. Number one, this is from your sister, Heather.
She torched me the last time.
The first part is, hi, can you take the ugly billboards on 3A down before you leave?
Oh, boy.
No offense to this attorney. There's a photo of whoever this attorney is. Can you take the billboards down, Mr. Mayor?
I can't.
He can, Heather, he can.
So if you read the Patriot Ledger interview with me, my biggest regret or worst thing or whatever, I forget what the question was, I said the billboard fiasco, which is still ongoing. And originally, when the two billboard guys came in to see me, I said, we're not interested. I said, we got billboards in town we want to see go away. We're not interested in new ones. And I said, I don't want to have happen here what happened in West Quincy with the controversial billboard above Beyondy's service station in West Quincy. They came back later, they said, hey, we got an idea here. We can get all the billboards down on 3A as part of this package, bum, bum, bum. Not to relive too much history, but it was a really good deal for the town. It would have resulted in the billboards coming down on 3A, revenue for the town, et cetera, and they talked about the electronic billboard on Route 3, which are popping up, you might notice, on highways all around these new electronic billboards. So that's how we went down that road. So there's still a possibility that this gets unwound. One of them is actually, two of them are actually down, and when they came down, no one noticed that they were gone because the one at Cigar City, the two at Cigar City are gone. But as part of the agreement under this billboard thing, which is in litigation and may be resolved one way or another, we'll see a couple billboards removed. I know that one landlord is voluntarily taking one down at the expiration of the lease with Clear Channel, or who the successor is to Clear Channel. So sometime in the future, I think they're going to go. So
good news.
We may be around for it, we may not be, I don't know, or I'll have gray hair then. So that's the answer.
Heather, would you like to ask the second part of the question?
Well, no, I just want to say in this first question, I really apologize whoever that verbatim up here and show. I don't know who you are, but I'm sorry.
So real quick about this. Ted came to work for me for the first time in 2002 as my campaign manager. We were running, or there was a gentleman named Ted LeClaire running against me. Anyone here remember that name?
Sure.
So we had a little money. We never had a billboard. We said, we got enough money. Let's get a billboard on 3A. So we had that billboard. And it was my face with a slogan. It's the only time I ever had a billboard in a campaign. And I don't know if you know this, the North Weymouth folks might know this, but the former owner of that property is a gentleman whose name I just invoked in the last question, Fran Tusi, a very, very hardcore partisan Democrat on the Democratic Town Committee in Weymouth. Well, I didn't realize Ted was the campaign manager. I didn't know which billboard location he was getting. He got this one. I get a call one day. This ties it all together. This is amazing, the coincidence that's going to happen here. I get a call one day from someone that's in the room, won't out him. He says, I'm going through the drive-through in the bank. This is 2002 now, right? He goes, I'm in the drive-through and I'm looking across the street. He says, I thought Fran Tusi's having a heart attack. He's jumping up and down. He goes, what did you do? He goes, then I pull up and I notice your face is on his building. What are you doing to the poor guy? He called Clear Channel, wanted the thing taken down, or Ackerley, or whoever it was then. He was so apoplectic that he went into Masseson's Auto Body, and one of the people he spoke to was Paula Mine's brother, and he tried to pay them to go up on the roof of the auto body shop and take my face down off of his building. And Fran didn't like me. And one day I had a run-in with him, and Sue Kay was with him because he was a campaign manager for her earlier. And I paid him a compliment on something that was legitimate that I saw in the newspaper, and Sue didn't know about it. And he was surprised that I knew about it and Sue didn't know about it, and his whole kind of attitude towards me changed after that. And I used to walk from my office on C Street over to Everyday Cafe to get a coffee now and then. I walked by his place, and one day he saw me, he invited me in, and he became like my long-lost brother, showing me old postcards of Weymouth, and he found an old picture of my grandfather he gave me in a house clean out, and his whole personality changed. But we almost did give him a heart attack by putting my face where that guy is, and I hope my sister didn't have the same reaction to my face as she did with that guy.
Well, the second part of her question, I believe, Heather, was, and did my meaning you, right? And did Heather's recent move to Weymouth have anything to do with your decision to retire, she's wondering?
No.
No. All right, well.
But by the way, she's been a resident of Hingham, Hull, Rockland, where else? School doesn't count. And she said she moved to North Weymouth, and she told me recently, she goes, I feel like I'm home.
Oh.
So the question to Heather is, what's better where you lived, Weymouth or Hingham?
Our next guest. Someone we're going to be very nice to because we need her help with MWRA, the mayor of Braintree, Aaron Joyce.
Now, I got a little heads up that she was coming, and I brought a present for her.
No. That's vintage. That's vintage. That's for you.
I brought a present for you.
Yep.
You know, I've never re-gifted anything in my life.
No. We
Until
have
now.
some, and you should keep that.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for keeping you.
Does this get me a free
You might be looking for a retirement gig, and you'll already have something to wear.
Maybe I could wear this and sneak onto the Braintree golf course without paying a fee.
Hey, Did you see our municipal golf course was highly rated by a YouTube golfer in the last month with millions of views. So we're very proud of that. So you can golf anytime.
I haven't golfed in like 18 years.
Well, welcome to
And
Braintree.
by the way, you
golf.
had a guy named Hedlund that used to run the golf course, you know.
Yes, I do know
and
that.
he had a true story. He was troubled by the geese, and he decided to have a geese hunt. And the animal protection people protested. And a couple weeks before one of my elections, the Patriot Ledger, hi Tom, the Patriot Ledger ran a headline, activist protest Hedlund goose hunt, right before my election.
Yeah, that's a tough headline. But you powered through, and you have a very successful term as mayor, several terms, and I think being a newbie mayor on the South Shore, a lot to look up to for you and the leadership you've brought to Weymouth. A lot of our residents speak very highly of where Weymouth has come in the last decade, and that's, you know, with a lot of thanks to you. So thanks for leading the way on the South Shore and on our border. And I brought you a little gift. It's not a shirt.
Excellent. I feel like a kid at Christmas here. This is unbelievable. Peppermint candy. I really appreciate that. A lifetime supply. Thank you.
Do you remember when we first met at Grill 151?
Oh! She knows my hidden talent.
Well, is that party trick? Like, can you do that right now?
No.
All right. We won't put you on the spot.
What's the trick?
but-
Break dancing?
We need to hear the story.
Oh, yeah. So walked right up prior to being elected and chatted his ear off at Grill 151.
My sister's going to know the answer to this.
Yeah. And I was running, the mayor that I won the election against was Mayor Charles Kokoris. A lot of people called him Chuck. And on the way out of the restaurant, Mayor Hedlund grabbed a Bob's Peppermint, walks out into the parking lot, goes, well, chucks the thing up in the air.
First I said, watch
pretty
this.
high, yep. And he goes, can Chuck do this? And he threw his head back and he caught the peppermint. I'm like, oh, I don't know if he can do that. I can't do that, so very good.
I started as a kid throwing peanut over the telephone wire and catching it in my mouth. So my junior or senior year, we had a talent show in high school, and my buddies suggested that we get the Swedish Fish and play carnival music. And I was going to pretend I was a seal, and my buddy's going to throw the Swedish Fish, and I'm going to catch the fish in my mouth. I said, I'm not doing that.
Well, now you can practice or, you know, impress all of your, you know,
I'm
new
very
friends in
disappointed,
retirement.
by the way. Has anyone been in Grill 151 lately? They got rid of the free mints at the front desk are gone. I can't do that there anymore. I'm going to bring my own now.
You're all set now, so.
Perfect.
Congratulations.
Do you have a question?
Well, I was going to ask you if you can do that party trick on demand, but, you know, now I have to think of something else.
End of the night in the parking lot. The ceiling's too low here.
Yeah, it's true. Do you have any advice for a new mayor?
I think we've had a couple meetings. We had a lengthy discussion in Grill 151. I think I offered some unsolicited advice to you. Actually, I offered advice to your predecessor, and he didn't listen to me, and he regretted it about 2 years later, and he caught on. You know what I'm talking about, but we won't say it publicly. But no, I think you're doing a great job over there, and we do appreciate the working relationship we've had with you since you've come in.
Yeah. Your success, our success, helps the South Shore be stronger, so
Absolutely.
looking forward to continuing that. And it's great to be here tonight in person, so thank you.
And we wish you the best, and stay off social media. That's my advice to you.
Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you.
Well, I think we're heading towards the home stretch here, folks, but tonight does represent the 126th episode of Ask the Mayor, if you can believe it. And the great Jeff Cummings has put together a highlight reel, Bob, to reflect back at our many moments of
I don't
fun
know.
and
I don't know
frivolity.
when you're going off the air, but I was told by Ted this is the last mug in existence.
I asked about it as soon as I got up
and
here.
we were going to do a trivia question of some sort, and Ted suggested we ask how many episodes were there, but you've let the cat out of the bag. So we need a new question before we end.
I'm expecting Ask the Mayor to be canceled.
Roll it.
Take it away, Donnie.
Hello, it's Jeff Cummings, the editor of Ask the Mayor. If you've seen the show before, you know that we've created some pretty crazy content over the years, and my hard drive is full of the most insane, bizarre animations and graphics that I don't even remember creating. So, in no particular order, and with absolutely no context, here are some of the craziest things that I've had to create over the years, followed by some of the Mayor's favorite highlights from the series. Thanks so much, Mayor, and best of luck in the future.
That's the way we used to do it in the old days anyway. You have an answer to that? Torn between two lovers, sitting like a fool. Bless you. And milk.
Over there, and I make myself a cup, and I load it up with sugar and cream, and have horror.
Communist, un-American.
So he probably
proud to
goes
be
to
an
Dunkin' Donuts.
American. Well, thank you, Ted.
Development update, but we have to
hey, when that happens. Okay. Virgo. That's it. So appropriate is.
Hey, that's not right. Preceded you creating
Help us out. Help us out. Please some of the people all the time and all the people some of the time. Hedlund 2029?
No. You should have anticipated it. He brought you back 3 weeks later for. Don't put Tufanction in the category yet, but he's slowly getting there.
To get the ballots out. And I will take and break your violin. So we will.
Normal co-host. So this could be an up.
Jane.
Oh. You are now getting sleepy. The Women's Pond Skating Police. You don't have a force out there.
Listen, segueing very quickly,
Here's a
Bob.
graphic I can see now.
It's probably saved me a speeding ticket every now and again.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
I have the triple play is landline, internet, and cable. So actually, I don't know if you know, I was on tour.
To not throw their litter. We've talked about it endlessly. The litter up at Great Hill is a disgrace. They were upset that you painted it lavender. It has to be either yellow. It has to be yellow or red, Jim. Yeah.
Roundabout.
Canceled. Our show was canceled, folks. Good evening, good day, whatever it is when you are watching this and viewing this. Welcome to our premiere episode of Ask the Mayor. The thought behind our show was to answer questions in a public forum for residents who have any questions, comments about what's going on around our town.
Bob, to the best of my knowledge, this is our first Inquisitor in question from International Zone. Are you ready, sir? It's entitled Inquiry.
Where's it from, Jim?
It appears to be from China. Hello, this is VG from Dongguan Changming Electronic Company Ltd of China. We know that you are making about electronic products. Our products include major series, video and audio series, data transfer series, monitor and control series, etc., such as network cable. What's your thoughts on that, and what do you have to say to VG?
What are my thoughts? I will put this in the follow-up file and just remind the chief that we do get complaints, and he can take a look at that neighborhood.
Well, listen, in fairness to all, congratulations. I don't know if there's really a question in there. Just wondering. Thank you, Kenny. It's always good to see his positivity being offered.
There's no question?
Keep up the good work. And sorry about how I dumped your books in high school, I think is what it says here. I was wondering, the person with the guitar, did he borrow those shorts from Ellie Mae Clampett? Just wondering. Kenny Ryder. Okay, the curveball, the original curveball.
Ellie Mae Clampett.
Why don't we rename the Academy Avenue School right down the road after Abigail Adams?
Because we have the Abigail Adams School right here.
This is officially called the Abigail Adams School. Okay. Oh, it's not the one right in Columbia Square by the post office?
That building's been ripped down. It's gone.
Okay.
I know that's your
My
neighborhood.
Station 2 is located in?
Broad Street.
Broad
We
Street.
had this discussion before.
Is that in Weymouth? Where is Fire Station 2?
That's on Broad Street, right around the corner.
Oh, right down at the cusp of the landing?
Yeah.
Oh, there's talk about reopening that, huh? Down by Tufts?
When we had this discussion before, you thought it was the one at the corner of Broad and Washington.
But I now know it's down there by the library.
Hedlund. I'm Judy Briggs. I have a personal question.
No, I'm busy Saturday night.
He's single.
Have you
There's somebody here who can do a better job than I can.
I'm going to talk about potholes.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce the great, the legendary Dana Hersey.
Thank you very much.
You wanted the guest host, you got one, Mr. Hedlund.
How do you do? Well, good to see you.
Reminder, in the fairness to Bob, we never see the questions before they're handed to us as we about to tape the show. So when I'm reading that one from the guy from China or any other one, I'm kind of like humming.
It was spam that came in on the Gmail account and wound up in the pile.
And in testimony to the mayor's arm's length awareness of everything and anything, he's never seen these questions in advance, and he always has a pretty quick and
Mary tipped me off to like probably no more than 3 in 9.5 years. Just should this be appropriate? I said, Mary, we don't censor anything on the show. Put it in there.
Obviously, after that Ellie Mae Clampett one.
I think you censored 1 question in 9.5 years, right? I think.
Our next guest. Who've been very patient. Please welcome State Senator Patrick O'Connor and State Rep Jamie Murphy.
No more citations. We want questions.
Jamie.
Good to see you.
Good evening, everybody. I was going to say it's very tough to follow up that video, but I don't think anyone could follow up that video. That is something. So it's a real honor for me to be here. The trajectory of my career really goes through Mayor Hedlund quite a bit. I was in, I think my sophomore year when I was appointed by the school to actually shadow Bob for a day. And after that, I joined on to the 2002 campaign, was able to go to school, graduate.
What do you remember about the shadow day?
I remember quite a bit. Speaker Mariano was there. We were able to go to Braintree to talk about, I think it was a Greenbush meeting at that point in time.
Yeah, but we also went to Johnson School for something.
Johnson School, and John Kerry was in the area
Wow.
that
Very
day,
good,
too.
very good.
So there was a lot going on, but then once I got back from school, I ran for the town council, and then was offered a job in Bob's office, and did that for about 9 years, working alongside Ted. And I remember those conversations that
How
we
come
had.
you didn't get elected president? Why were you only the vice president of your class? How'd that happen?
I never ran for president of the class. But it's been an honor. It really has. We were up there during a lot of really challenging times. 2008 with the housing crisis, we were getting phone calls all the time of people literally, losing their homes, and being able to do that work in the back end, the stuff that you don't see, the things that don't make the newspaper. But seeing then Senator Hedlund work really hard to help people out in some of their most challenging times. And I know that still rings true today for a lot of the work that you do day in and day out for people in this community that, you'll never hear about those stories and those issues, but coming from the state senate, I can attest to it. They happen every single day. 5 or 6 people reach out just with no place else left to turn, and they turn to government, and they hope that government can be there to help them out. And I know that Bob's helped out thousands and thousands of people during the time in which he's served as our senator and our mayor.
What's your most memorable moment serving as my aide?
That's a good question.
How about the time there was a certain state senator that threatened to beat you up? Remember that day?
I don't think it was a beat up. It was more of they told me to leave, which I thought was very weird. And that state senator then ended up getting arrested, if I believe correctly.
No, I'm talking on the roll call controversy when a certain senator hid behind the rostrum.
Oh, that senator.
Do you have a citation?
We do have a citation. I know that Ted's trying to speed this up. It's good that you guys can fit in the Weymouth guys after Quincy and Braintree, by the way, too.
In the altercation, Pat did the right thing. There was a state senator that wanted him to lie and give him cover on something, and Pat stood his ground.
I appreciate it. So I'll hand this off to Representative Murphy, but we had a resolution read in your honor, Bob. You can take a read at it. I'm sure you don't want the platitudes.
Was it read into the record?
It was. No, we did an actual resolution. But basically, to really summarize it, it's all the years of service that you've had. Melanie's Law up in the state senate, all your years in transportation, all the things you were able to accomplish up there. Coming here, the Chapman School, Tufts Library, all the park improvements, all the things that you've been able to improve around the community. It's been an honor. I worked for you. I've been able to serve this community for 12 years, and now I've been able to serve in a position that you served in for over 20 years. And I can tell you it's a lot of hard work, and I wouldn't be in this position without your tutelage, without your leadership and friendship, and I deeply appreciate it.
Tutelage. I like that word. I learned that word watching wrestling when I was a kid.
So congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you.
This is for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Great job, Pat.
Nice job, Patrick. Mayor, it's an honor to be here today. You can sit down, it's okay. When Pat and I were invited to this, we spoke earlier today and we spoke yesterday about it. We said to ourselves, we have no idea what this is all about. We saw the
I didn't either.
Ted sent it to us and we're like, what is this all about? We still don't know what it's all about. and I can say that Pat and I have been to many retirement parties in the past 25 years as a state rep. This is by far the craziest retirement party I've been to. It's great to be a part of it. But, congratulations on your retirement. I know you'll do great things from here. Who knows what you're going to be doing. I've been a rep now for 25 years, holding a seat that was once held by Representative Paul Haley and Representative Bob Ambler, who I know you know very well. I had the honor to work with many people over the years. I see some of the mayors like Mayor Joe Sullivan, and we mentioned Sue Kay and Dave Madden. And so I work with all three of you as mayors, and God bless Sue and Dave, who cannot be here today, obviously. But we remember them like we will you someday. You're still alive.
Hopefully in a different kind of way.
Be careful who you're nice to over the years, because somebody will be coming back to us asking us for favors,
kinda,
which will start probably on Wednesday or Thursday.
It's kind of scary when you think the only living mayor,
No, it is. We've worked alongside together a long time. So when I was first elected years ago, Greenbush came up. When I first ran, they said, what do you think about Greenbush? This is back in 2000, whatever it was. 2000. I said, yeah, I support it. And we went through that battle, and suddenly you and I are on the first train ride through Weymouth Landing all the way down south.
Seems to be a theme tonight. You guys want to remind me of that.
Well, it's your retirement, so we're being nice to you, holding the bad stories aside. We're going to put those aside for now. But I first met you many years ago, back in 1995. Think back now.
When you were an aide.
I was an aide to Paul Haley, and I lived on Westlake Drive back then, across from Boston Motel, across from a Chinese food place. And remember back then, the Foxy Lady Strip Club wanted to come to Weymouth?
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was a crazy time. I was 25 years old, living across the street with my neighborhood, and we all came out opposing the club. We all did as a community. The police were involved. The town was involved. We picketed the place every day. And luckily, it went somewhere else, right? And that would have changed Weymouth forever if they actually opened up there. But one day I was on the way to law school, my second year of law school. I went into the State House to visit Bob Hedlund and Paul Haley, who was my state senator and my state rep back then. I had never met either one of them. And they came down to a neighborhood meeting at St. Albans that we had, about 300 people in the hall, talking about how we're going to oppose this strip club. Long story short, Senator Hedlund and Paul Haley and our neighborhood and the entire town band together. And the Fox Lady decided to go to Boston, then they ended up opening up in Brockton. But because of all of you and because of Senator Hedlund and Paul Haley and everybody here, Weymouth is not going to have a place like that in our town. And so it made a difference back then. Paul Haley offered me a job. After that, I was his aide at the State House. I worked with Senator Hedlund as Paul Haley's aide. And then a few years later, Paul left, and I ended up running for office. So I served as a state rep with Senator Hedlund up until the time he became mayor. But I've had the honor of working with him, and not always on the same side of issues, not on the same side of the aisle, but we've always worked well together. I think the town has benefited from Senator Hedlund having a great relationship with everybody who's here today in government, including myself and Pat. So despite the craziness of looking at this agenda saying, what is this thing tonight? I definitely wanted to be here to thank you for everything that you've done.
I got to tell you something. Strange coincidence. So cleaning out my desk, cleaning out some files, there was some stuff I brought from the State House that I didn't want to throw out when I left the State House. And it ended up under a desk in Town Hall. And I was cleaning out my desk and files this past week. Was like an archaeological dig. Yeah. And Bob Luongo happened to be in the office Friday. And I said, Bob, look at this. I had the whole Foxy Lady file.
Wow.
And it is amazing looking through it. And Joe Callanan, who later worked here for me in Weymouth as town solicitor, came up with an idea when he was working for me on some legislation we filed to change the state zoning code, which the bill signing, I think you were there for, Governor Weld came to former Hunan Village, almost Foxy Lady, now Cuba Circle, to sign that legislation at a press conference there. And I was looking through the folder and looking through the files and some of the personalities and getting to see how we've all aged. But there was and I didn't even remember this part of that tale. They applied for a liquor license transfer, and the hearing was held right here at Abigail. No, excuse me, I don't even know if it was called Chapman then when we did the realignment, but the future Chapman Auditorium. Every seat was full. I mean, the picture is amazing. What's the capacity of the old auditorium there, Donnie? We had 1,000 people there for a liquor license hearing for that. I mean, the community really came out for that, so that was a kind of a watershed moment.
When that had happened, John Riley came to my house, remember the longtime moderator, with a resolution that I read as a town meeting member at town meeting. And the fact that I think the applicant had a criminal history when they applied for the transfer of the liquor license, that was the catch. Thank God for the work of the Weymouth Police Department back then researching that. We were able to block the liquor license because you realize that there's no money in strip clubs unless you're selling liquor. So without the liquor license, that was it.
And he responded to that, and he said, fine, I'm going to make it an 18 and up club and offset the loss of the liquor revenue by bringing in kids that are 18. That was his response, because there's an article in that folder. Well, I saved the files. I'll give them to you.
I have a picture that day. We were all there. This is what year was that, 95, 96? Here we are today talking about it. But I have a picture of that day, Ron Mariano, Paul Haley, you, Governor Weld, and even Greg Hargaden had a full head of hair that day. Greg was in the picture. So it's a great picture and my father was in it too.
Yep, your dad's in the picture, but it was a little backstory there where sometimes politics intercedes with policy, and that was in the midst of an election. And I had a candidate running against me by the name of Delahunt that year.
Right.
And just having that name made him a formidable candidate. And just one anecdote from that day, since softball has been referenced. Our first debate was in Scituate, and I had a softball game that afternoon in a Saturday afternoon league I played in. And the game was in Scituate. It was in Cohasset, and my chief of staff's house was in Scituate. He says, and he was on my team, Jeff Granatino. Yeah. And he said, well, play in the game and come to my house and shower and change. So I took it a little lightly. I ran to his house after the game, cleaned up, went to the debate. And I was trying to transition from a ball field to the debate, and I was a little off my game that day, and the kid did pretty good. And then I went to my sister's house shortly thereafter. I didn't even have cable then, in 1996. And Heather had cable, and I was at her house watching TV, and his local political cable TV ad came on. It was one of the best I ever saw. And I said, I'm in trouble. Yeah. But it was in the midst of that, and he took some shots at me saying our legislation was ineffective, et cetera, when it really wasn't, but, you know.
I think the takeaway from
a little walk down memory lane tonight.
One of them, I mean, speaking of this, I don't want to take up too much time, but I think the town of Weymouth has done very well over the years because all of us go back such a long way. So people that might come into the town or people in government might think of Jamie Murphy or Pat O'Connor or you as silos to themselves, but we all have long histories with each other. All these stories you're talking about, political opponents, we could sit there all night and talk about these stories that probably should be told at some point, but we all go back a long way with the former mayors and current mayors, and I think that's how Weymouth's done so well in the past 10 years and even longer. So it's been an honor to work with you, and we're excited about Mike. Now the town of Weymouth has to elect him, but I know we in the legislature, if the town elects Mike, which I hope you do, we're going to stand there to help Mike in his new role. He's going to be a great mayor, given the opportunity by all of you. But tonight's about you, and I want to thank you. Being in public life is not easy. Being a senator and a mayor, when you're into public life, we know how hard it is. Only we know how hard it is.
So one last thing for you, because one of the first questions we got, I think, was, why are you leaving? Or Ted's question. And I told him this. It dawned on me last week or so, mentioned David Madden passing. David Madden was my age that I am now when he passed away.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to.
That's tough on us.
I don't want to have no living mayors.
And they were our friends. We work with them, so it's hard, and it's hard to see you go.
I don't want to depress the crowd. So
yeah. But thank you for putting yourself out there personally, and the town of Weymouth is better for it. and I'm glad to have known you and wish you all the best, whatever you do. So congratulations, Mayor Hedlund.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice suit, by the way. Nice suit. Thank you. That's a great job, Jamie. Great job, Alex.
Pat has an announcement.
We got DOT to do the Former Bridge announcements. We got a lot of those complaints about that. So they will. It's not perfect yet, but they are doing it.
When?
You can sign up now. You get the text alert through their system if you go on there. But there are times when it does go up that they don't send the text alert out. So we're still working to try and fix it. But DOT has taken that on, so you don't have to subscribe to the Ledger in order to get that done. Doris.
Done? We got a trivia question.
We are in our final email question. A lot of folks around this town, as we talk about the legacy and the history that we all share with each other. Mike Joyce, who's about to ask the next question, and it's an email question. Mike Joyce is the best karaoke singer in this town. He's the best quarterback in this town, and he is one of the nicest guys.
And he's the best social media moderator.
He is the man on everything.
No, we don't want to out him.
Michael, what do you have to say?
All right. First of all, thanks, Bob, for everything you've done for the town.
Thank you.
I have enormous respect.
One of the biggest cheerleaders for Weymouth right here. Very proud of his town.
No doubt. The juice.
I have enormous respect for anybody that gets up in the morning and whose job it is to make this town a little bit better today than it was yesterday. And that goes for a lot of the people in the room today that work in the town. So just a quick question. As you got elected somewhere around 10 years ago, all the pomp and circumstance went away, and it's your first day in the office. The door closes, and it's just you and a desk. What was your biggest challenge, and do you think you'd answer that challenge the same today as you did then?
Just kind of learning some of the ropes the first few days, not having had any exposure other than being a town meeting member, to municipal government, relying very heavily on, obviously, Ted and Jean. Kerry came aboard. I inherited 2 staffers in the mayor's office. And I remember talking to Ted. Jean doesn't know this part of the story. He's like, yeah, we might have to get rid of Jean. We might need to bring...
Hey now!
We might need to... No, he said, we might need to bring our own person in. And I said, yeah, we should probably bring our own person in. And we found out very, very, very quickly that Jean was someone we didn't want to lose. I got to give her a public shout out. She carries me, believe me. You have no idea.
That's Jean Savoy, Jean and Kerry now. How about Kerry, Team Jean, Dave?
And we've had, so Jean and Kerry have been there since day one. We've had turnover in the 3rd seat. Right now it's Teresa Sartucci, who came back out of retirement to work part-time in that spot, and she's been a godsend. I'm very disorganized in certain things. Keeping my schedule, for instance. Filing, for instance. I have ADD, like I'll be telling a story in the office and they're like, you got 3 guys out there waiting, Oh, thanks for reminding me. So they've really carried me, and I couldn't do it without them and Ted. So it was just kind of like finding my way, I guess the analogy would be like a little newborn animal coming out of the womb, like a giraffe finding its legs. But pretty quickly, in the Ledger interview, I think the real turning point was working with the staff on the level field thing, trying to sort that out. It started under the Kay administration. A lot of money was spent on engineering, and it was rejected by the Conservation Commission. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, how do you spend over $250,000 on a plan, and then it doesn't pass muster with another town department and all that? But I guess the scariest thing was the first day, and I've told the story a couple times, but probably most of the people don't know it.
My scariest day is going to be tomorrow when I see Jean.
Jean, it wasn't probably verbatim like that, but we discussed on who should
No, it's too late. That is over.
Well, compared to that story, what happened like the first or second day, Mike, was, I got to be careful here, but
Again, too late.
I wanted to fire Ted, and I didn't.
I was at my desk doing something, and I looked up, and there was a woman standing in front of me, and I don't know how she got past the other women outside and got into my office. And I said, "Can I help you?" And she said, "You're probably going to want to get rid of me. I'm not cut out for this position. I can go and do something else, like be a school crossing guard." And I said, "Well, what is it that you do?" And she said, "Well, I'm your acting CFO of the town of Weymouth." And I'll let Ted take it away from there, if he wants to address it.
I do not.
And that was the day I
Thank you.
said,
Good luck.
what did I get myself into here in Weymouth?
So if you didn't know, and Jamie, this is for you, if you didn't know why you were here so far, you're going to know even less after you watch these videos of special guests that wanted to send a message to Mayor Hedlund.
Hello, it's Jeff Cummings.
Hello, they're Bob from Two Original Saxons, Paul Quinn, and
I'm Graham Oliver, the original guitarist with Paul.
we would like to wish you a great retirement and have fun from two people that are almost retired.
Yeah, we're almost retired, Bob. Thank you for the music and for the support, Bob. It's much appreciated. Enjoy your retirement and keep rocking.
Yeah.
Woo to the Mayor Bob, retired as mayor of Weymouth after 9.5 years. I'm wishing you well in your retirement and congratulate you on the series finale of Ask the Mayor. I've never seen it, but I certainly want to look it up now, man. God bless you. Stay strong. And congratulations on your retirement, brother. 9.5 years of being the mayor. The mayor makes you the man. And to be the man, you got to beat the man. Mayor, you are the man. Mayor Bob Hedlund. Woo!
Hi, Bob. Dana Hersey here. Heard you were resigning as the mayor of the great town of Weymouth. We don't have mayors here in the town of Essex, Massachusetts, just a few middle-aged women who get together once a month and drink wine and come up with the next harebrained idea for an override. Here in the North Shore, we never met an override we didn't like. And we sure could have used your storied concern for the taxpayers here. Well, in any event, Bob, it was a pleasure getting to know you a while back and an honor to find out I played a small part in the inspiration for Ask the Mayor. Now that you're presumably going to be a bit less busy, I also know you'll have more time to watch your favorite shows, Hogan's Heroes and The Three Stooges. They're all on streaming channels now, Bob, so you won't have to sit through all those Ron Popeil pocket fisherman commercial things. All the best to you, Bob, and hope everything turns out great for you because I think you deserve it. They say all politics is local, and you've locally been the very best of politics. You're one of the good guys, Bob, and I wish you the best of luck. So, cheers.
Well, honestly, I'm looking at this itinerary list, and there's only a couple more items on it, Robert, but included in them is the last email question that you are going to be receiving as your host of Ask the Mayor. Are you ready, my friend? It's from the legendary Ed Hartnett. Is Ed here tonight? Ed Hartnett is
back row.
Eddie, thank you for, he's led the show in some number of questions that he sent in, next to Jason Thayer, maybe. And Ed, you've done a great job through the years. From Ed Hartnett, hello, Mayor Bob and Jim. Train kept a rolling all night long melody. Now that you're retiring as mayor, Robert, I'd like to know which accomplishment you are most proud of and what mistake you regret and wish you could take another crack at. Before I go, I want to say what a pleasure it's been to have you as our mayor for the past 9.5 years. You have accomplished so much, and you really cared about what happens here. There are so many things to be very proud of. Some things didn't go in your favor. That's life. I know you will have a great memory of your time as mayor. Ask the Mayor will never be the same. Happy time off from all the pressures of being mayor. I hope you can now relax. Your friend, Mr. Ed Hart. And Ed, we love you back there, brother. So, Robert, what is your proudest accomplishment, and what mistakes might have you made?
Well, it says another crack at it. Obviously, we addressed it earlier.
Yeah.
It would be first instincts when the Billboard guys showed up. So bye-bye, don't come back. So that was a headache and still hangs out there. Good luck with that one, Mike. But, you know, most proud of, it's hard to say because we've done a lot. I mean, and I gave a general answer to the ledger, just kind of like how we've handled finances. That's Ted's ballywick. He really done a great job on kind of reforming how we handle the debt service in the town. That gave me the ability to try to pursue the vision I had on the things that we'd like to improve upon in town. So I can't single anything out. There's been so many high watermarks in terms of, you know, the work we did to get the library grant, and really staff did all that work. Just can't say enough about a lot of the town staff, the department heads, the laborers at DPW, Bob Feldman and Kennan's leadership over there. You know, right out of the gate, the first day, I grabbed Kennan and I said, Columbian Square parking lot shouldn't look like that. You know, I used to take my kid to Bob's Muffin Shop. Why does the parking lot look like that? So, you know, we call that phase one of the Columbian Square improvements. I mentioned level field, and, you know, we weren't sure that we could do level field. The previous administration wanted an override to do it, I think. And, you know, we were trying to find a way to do it without the override. And then once we got going, Ted's like, gee, I think we can do a couple more fields. So it was, I think, you know.
And the library.
I'd say hiring Ted was probably my greatest accomplishment. I mean that. You know, it was 2002. Liz Himmel-Milch, are you here by chance? Because you come to a lot of community events. Her brother called me one day and said, I know this guy over in Braintree looking for a career change. He can work cheap because his wife's the breadwinner. I literally hired him and gave him, I think, free lunch and a gas stipend was how it started.
Sounds about
And I ran my campaign in 2002, and that was really, we kicked some butt that year, really. And I said, okay, the guy's good, knows what he's doing. And came to the State House. And in some ways, it was sort of a waste of his talents. He was chomping at the bit to do something bigger. Actually, he left me for a little while, and he went on a failed mission. He went to work for a congressional candidate that got smoked. And then he,
LeClaire? Because you wouldn't do something
Congress, Jim.
You wouldn't do something bigger, so I helped someone to do it.
So then he went to work for DCR for a little while, and then I said, come on back, and then here we are. So I can't say enough about him, the department heads that really, you know, do a lot of the heavy lifting. And we have some really dedicated people, people like Steve Riley. I mean, he'll be driving on his own time over the weekend. He'll see a piece of trash at one of the fields, and he'll get out and pick it up. I mean, that's dedication. The police department, great. Can't say enough about the DPW guys. When we did, just one example of the dedication I saw from DPW, and really they needed just some direction. I mean, when we came in, I thought they were going to be a headache department. We had some issues in the beginning, and just as an example of how they responded, you know, sitting at the intersection at Winter, Middle, and Broad, which was a historic site in Weymouth, the site of our first, Jim, correct me if I get something wrong, site of our first town meeting house, I think site of an early school, right? Near, pretty close to the location of the last skirmish in King Philip's War, as King Philip's marched toward Boston, his furthest advance north, right, Jim? Good. Don't ask me accounting questions, but history I'm okay on. So I said, why does it look like that? Maybe we can get, you know, do an in-house project, clean it up. And DPW responded. Those guys took that on with pride. The day we dedicated that, you could see the pride in their eyes. They took the statue project on also. A big part of that was done in-house. So it's really some of the dedicated people here. And I said this publicly before, I had a business for 10 years. I started a couple other businesses. I worked for the state for a while. I served in the state legislature. I was at a state agency for a little while. And some of the folks in Weymouth work harder than I saw people work in those other settings. So they made me look good.
Great answer. And now our last video of the evening, or night.
Before you get to it, can I just give a shout out to Saxon?
Yeah.
That really made my day, made my night. We violated copyright laws, I think, by grabbing music for the, and we've only had, I think, 4 theme songs in the 9.5 years, and I can't remember the first one. I think we briefly used an Aerosmith song. Then we went to Saxon Dogs of War. Then we did a band called The Motors, a song called Love and Loneliness, which is a little more upbeat, a new wave band. And then we've gone Saxon 747's Strangers in the Night. And those guys are getting a little bit up there long in the tooth, as you could see, right? But the guy on the right, the right, Paul Quinn, I had the chance to meet him on a couple of occasions. English gentleman. If you saw them on stage, you'd be like, what the heck is that? You would never know that's the English gentleman when they're on stage. But he just left the band a few years ago, and the band is still going strong. I've had the chance to hang out with them and see them about 1.5 years ago. It was my highlight of live music in the last few years. So that was a thrill. How you guys pulled that off, I don't know. That was a surprise to me, so thank you. I'll cherish that moment.
Let's just edit out the copyright infringement admission.
Well, I think he became aware of it, which is why they were willing to do the video, because they're flattered by it. So.
And I think I have a way to give away our cup.
We need a question.
Somebody name a Saxon song for this cup.
I just said one.
We have one more video. Let's get
Nobody knows.
2 familiar faces to Mayor Hedlund from up in our State House years.
Well, say it isn't so. Congratulations, my friend. I'm so proud of you, and it's been such an honor to be able to work with you as a member and friend in the legislature, and then seeing you become mayor of your hometown and doing this amazing work in Weymouth, from public safety, #1 priority, housing, economic development, downtown, jobs, and doing all the things to make your community better and safer and stronger and more available to a lot of families to be able to live, work, and raise their families, including you, doing all of this public service and raising your son as a dad and balancing it all. It's not easy, but you did it well. And to you, my friend, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Enjoy the other side. It's not bad. Love you. Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here, and I'm sorry I can't be with you, but I did want to offer my congratulations and appreciation for Weymouth Mayor Bob Hedlund. Bob, you, there's simply no question that you were born for that job, and while you and I may debate whether or not you got there in the way you would have wanted to get there or not, I really do think in some respects it was the perfect place for you. And Weymouth has benefited from your service and your creativity, and especially your appreciation for what the people of that community want time and time again. And I also have to say that your encyclopedic knowledge when it comes to good old-fashioned American rock and roll is very special to me. I can't believe that at one point in time you were walking out of an event somewhere, your phone rang, and it was the opening chords to Safe European Home by The Clash, which I, of course, knew because that was one of my favorite albums. And the fact that you put Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, Hearts of Stone, as #3 on your all-time greatest rock and roll albums, that meant so much to me because, of course, I'm a huge fan of that band and think that album in particular has been wildly underappreciated over the years. And the final thing I just want to say, Bob, is whatever you do next, I have no doubt you'll enjoy it because you are one of those people. I mean, I don't know if it's the way you were brought up or just your genetic code, but there's a zen about you, about what you're up to and what you're doing that is there all the time, and I think in some respects is contagious. And we all benefit from the opportunity we have to spend time around somebody like you because You're just cool, I guess is what I would say. And you make everybody else around you feel a little cooler. So whatever's next, Bob, God bless and good luck. And thank you again for all you did for Weymouth.
If you like the job that Ted and I did, thank Charlie Baker, because I applied for DCR commissioner and had a meeting with him, and he said
no.
He said no. Well, he didn't quite put it that way. He gave me a runaround, but he said, he goes, well, I don't want to pull someone out of the legislature. We already pulled, what's his name, for Fisheries and Wildlife. And I said, well, I'm leaving anyway. And he says, what are you going to do? I said, well, maybe I'll run for mayor of Weymouth. He says, do you really want to be mayor of Weymouth? And I said, no, I want to be DCR commissioner. And it wasn't the right gender or ethnicity. And she actually only lasted a couple months. He made a mistake, but it worked out well. Saved me on the commuting time into Boston.
Yeah, we can edit that too. We do, before we let you give any closing remarks, we do have a gift for you.
We gotta give the last mug out too.
Right, but you can open that.
All right, so I got a gift to give out real quick. The WTC staff's paid. Ted, everyone involved in the show except Melody's paid, and he's complained about it often.
As I should.
So, because he does love Weymouth, he doesn't know Weymouth geography very well, but he does love the town, and he's given of his time for this and some other things. We would like to give him the ceremonial key to the city in recognition of all that other stuff, but also for, how many episodes was it again?
130.
126.
And he was there for all but the really good ones. All but the ones that went efficiently. Elizabeth Foster Nolan was one of my favorite fill-in guests. She did an awesome job. I teased her. I told her you were on the North Shore and you were running late and we were going to put her up here tonight.
Wow, holy smokes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief of Staff.
Am I supposed to open this now?
Yes.
It's got to be a gag.
Nope.
Another shirt.
What's your favorite baseball team?
Oh, what a guess. It's a shirt. Thank you. So there's the trivia question for the mug. Why am I a Philadelphia Phillies fan?
Ryan Sandberg. Ooh, good one.
Close enough, but I got mad when the Red Sox traded Cecil Cooper to the Milwaukee Brewers in 1976, and I boycotted and adopted the Phillies. They were my favorite NL team, and I had the great pleasure of sitting next to Jim Rice at the Marriott in Quincy for a Boy Scout dinner, and we got talking baseball, and he was curious why I was a Phillies fan, and I said, Jim, I got mad when they traded Cecil Cooper in 76. And he said, I was mad too. Cease was my best friend. Cease was my roommate. And look, takes his phone. He just texted me right now. Pretty cool. But thank you very much for this.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Any other, Ted, as he sashays into the sunset, any final words?
No, we have to give away the mug, and we have, would anyone?
Was your Mike Schmidt answer close enough for your...
It's a very good answer, yes.
All right, well, hang around after the show for
He
the
gets a mug.
Okay, it's the last one. Any other thoughts, Ted, as we close the show and you end your current working relationship with the mayor?
We're here for him.
I just want to say everyone that's here tonight and who ends up watching this, I assume it's going to air on WETC.
Yeah.
It was fun to do the show, but...
Take a nap beforehand, because...
It was fun to do the show,
we're on to 2 hours right now, so.
Well, Jeff may edit things out, who knows? But I just want to thank everybody that came out tonight and the residents of Weymouth. Even those that beefed on Facebook, the complainers, the input we got, the people who like what we did, it's still a big family. Families have differences at times and everything. But being the mayor felt like being in a family of 60,000 for the 9.5 years. And it was an honor to serve, and I think Mike will do a good job, and Ted's staying on, and that's key. So I think things will continue to improve for Weymouth. So thank you all.
If I may offer final closing remarks regarding the mayors, I think what most people are going to remember from Bob's tenure is he just mentioned it's a town of 60,000 people. I guessed 80 at one point. But I mentioned it earlier when I sang my song. I think, Bob, you brought back that small town vibe and that small town sense of community to our town that was dissipated and lost over the course of the last few years. And through all the work that you've done improving the look of the town
and
all the events.
The guys that are running the events are here.
No doubt
George
about
Raymond,
it.
Donnie
No doubt about
Norton.
it.
They picked up where 400 left off, keeping these community events going.
No doubt about it.
You know, someone said it's stable. We have a lot of influx of new people, yes.
Yep.
But there's a core of people that come here and want to stay here, where we have a lot of, not Braintree, but I'm thinking a little south of us where it's a little more transient. But people put roots down here for good reason.
Yeah, I think that's going to be your legacy, Bob. You brought back the small town feel to a kind of
I think it was
town.
there. It was there.
Well, we've been rediscovered for sure. So this is the conclusion of the episode, guys. Thank you all for coming. Needless to say, thank you, Robert, for all your great service. And a standing O is definitely in order.